On the second day of our broadcast from the Intra-Africa Trade Fair in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, we put the spotlight on Durban Tourism and the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone. First up, CNBC Africa's Dewald Rademacher finds out what impact the IATF will have on Durban tourism.
Firstly, I'd like to just say we're excited as the City of Durban to actually be hosting the Intra-Africa Trade together with the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and broadly it's a national initiative led by our president. So for us as the City of Durban, because it's happening in our locality, we are excited simply because it talks to the economic recovery plan of business tourism. You will know that in as far as COVID, there was huge impact, conferences we did not have, and there was a huge loss due to the impact of COVID. So in as far as the impact that we're having, because this is the first biggest, business event we having in our city, since the COVID 18 months ago. So for us, the impact is huge because over the 7 days at which the delegates are here, of which some of them arrived like 3 days before, we actually going to be having about 235 million spent from the delegates that are here, as well as 580, contribution to the GDP from the occupancy of the hotels, because the occupancy rates of our hotels is quite actually at a very high, around 50%, considering the number of delegates that are here from across 55 countries in Africa. And then job creation as well is also the impact at which we are going to be experiencing over 5,000 jobs being created, simply because others are temporary jobs and others are actually induced jobs. And then also the impact is going to spread beyond just the convention center, but it's going to go in and around the city, including the townships, because there's also going to be some, over the 7 days, the delegates are going to be having tours where they will book with our tour operators and actually just exploring the city, because as part of business travel for any delegate, the experience and leisure experience of exploring the city is what we have on offer for them, and encouraging our delegates to go and visit the city and explore the city.
What's some of the opportunities and challenges that small businesses are currently facing, and how can Intra-Africa Trade assist with that?
All right. Small businesses across, different sectors, they have faced a knock in as far as COVID is concerned. Just starting with tourism has experienced a knock simply because from the curfew and the inability for a lot of businesses in tourism to do events, because a lot of them were part of the eventing space. In the event, gatherings are not allowed and limited numbers. They were actually hard hit. So now that there's and also the other sectors like manufacturing, like arts and crafts, and the inability of having economic activities has actually hit the small businesses. So with this, it's going to be a rejuvenation of the businesses, simply because it talks to intra-Africa trade. Different businesses within the City of Durban, from the business-to-business linkages and engagements they are having here from different sectors. It could be manufacturing, automotive, arts and crafts, and any other sector, as well as tourism. They are talking that intra-Africa trade, engagement where they can further export their services and goods to other African countries, produce here in Durban in South Africa, and be able to export. And when they export, they are able to actually increase the volumes, not only look at a market within South Africa, but look at it broadly. And also talking to the skills, because also as they are engaging, there's also the issue of skills transfer and skills engagement, because across the different countries in Africa, they have some skills and knowledge that they can impart into our locals and vice versa. But more than anything, the fundamental is about the trade, which today it's a seed, or this week during the Intra-Africa Trade, it's a seed planted, which is going to be going beyond in terms of the exchange of trade, partnerships amongst businesses in different parts of the continent, and as well as globally. Because in as much as it's focusing on Africa, it's saying Africa trade together, but also Africa together be able to have more strength and trade globally.
Is there any specific areas that Durban Tourism is looking to showcase for potential investors?
Okay. In as far as Durban Tourism is concerned, firstly, it's about showcasing to visitors or the business delegates to actually, for leisure purposes, because as they come here, they are coming on a business transaction, but a repeat visit will actually for them to come on a leisure, where they come as families or just for a holiday outside of the business. But secondly, it's more about showcasing the different products now to buyers who are within the tourism sectors in the other parts of the continent, whereby when they package their travel packages for the source markets in different parts of Africa, they are able to have an understanding of what Durban has to offer, both from a leisure point of view, adventure shopping, museum, and all different experiences, so that and the unique experiences, because Durban has got unique experiences that you don't find anywhere else in the world, particularly anywhere else in South Africa. For example, the promenade that we have, it's an 8-kilometer promenade, and it's the longest promenade in Africa. We have the biggest aquarium, Etushaga Marine World. So those are the things that for us we are showcasing as the city of Durban for the tour operators or the buyers who are within the value chain of tourism across the continent, to actually have an appreciation of what Durban has got to offer. And what we're going to be doing during the duration of the conference, we're going to be taking those high profile buyers of tourism and exposing them through tours to these different areas. We're taking others to the townships like Inanda Heritage Route, where we've got our first democratic president, Nelson Mandela, who cast his vote there at Inanda. So that is also a unique experience. We're taking others down to the south, where we actually have other township experiences to offer, and up in the west to actually have an appreciation at first hand in as far as what Durban to offer, so that when they do the packaging of these experiences, they don't just look at it from a website or a brochure or online. They actually have an understanding firsthand and be able to be in a better position to sell it to their consumers or any other target market for them to come to the destination.
Next up, the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone is competing dollar for dollar with other investment platforms. We find out what the zone has to offer.
The Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone is a government entity. We are a state-owned company under the Economic Development and Environmental Affairs here in KwaZulu-Natal, responsible for then attracting investment that will create job opportunities, transfer skills, with those investors that will be coming on board, making sure that our youth are also empowered with the knowledge that will come with the investors that will be building in the Richards Bay IDZ. At this point in time, for instance, I can make an example with one project that we are doing with Nyanza Light Metals. It is a South African company owned by the South Africans, but co-owned with the Zimbabweans. In that process, we have the Afrexim Bank supporting, and as well as in terms of funding some of their projects. They are investing 4.5 billion investment on the titanium dioxide in the Richards Bay IDZ. The construction of that is underway, with the first phase getting to completion now at the end of November. And in that program, they are looking at taking the undergraduate, especially on the Technical Services Center that will be started now early next year, which is around February. And that for us will assist and make sure that we do have that interaction with Africa. As I said, the Afrexim Bank is supporting and funding the project that is coming on board with the Nyanza Light Metals.
You mentioned about undergraduate, and yesterday there was a strong emphasis placed on youth employment and skills training and skills transferring. What role is the Richards Bay IDZ play to facilitate this?
So with the projects that are coming on board, for instance, as I've said, with the Nyanza, we also have Wilma on board, which is an oil refinery company, edible oils, also starting, with their building of their projects. They have undertaken youth in the area, put them in their base program. 5 of them already have been undergone the program and are already employed and will be working with that project. We are also having the bursary programs as the Richards Bay IATF for the youth in the area. There is an enterprise development wing in our business development which looks into the projects that are youth oriented, and that way it is ensuring that we are empowering our skills, our youth with the skills that will be relevant for the investors that are coming on board, as well as in terms of the SMME development. We are looking at creating and making sure that, it's not only the jobs that are created with these investors, but the suppliers of these investors should be our people in the area. And we have youth, especially in the ICT space, that we are also developing to ensure that they are supporting the projects that are coming on board.
What other initiatives are there that you're undertaking to bolster inter-Africa trade?
So, look, I think with the projects that are coming on board, the RBI is also looking to co-fund. So we need funding to make sure that those projects really come to life and are realizing the opportunities that are in place. We do have different sectors that we're focusing on. I've only spoken to metals, beneficiation and ICT. We do also have agro-processing. If you're looking at it here in this stand that we are in, we have one youth-owned company or female-owned company that is into moringa, and we have an engagement with some of the companies that are coming from Ethiopia, and we're seeing some collaborations that can happen there in terms of working with them, boosting this company that is a small company in Richards Bay that can grow with the production that can come from Ethiopia, and with the opportunities coming from other countries, it can make sure it can assist for this company to then be able to supply the external market that they are looking at to export to.
What kind of infrastructure and supply chain challenges does the IDC in general need to overcome to strengthen trade?
Look, I think we do have the advantages in terms of the corridor, where we are based in Richards Bay. We are well positioned because we are like 1 kilometer away from the port, the Richards Bay, the deepest port in Richards Bay, which is closest also to Mozambique going up. The challenges may be in terms of the trade, but I think with this conference that we are in here, it will assist in ensuring that we dissolve those, those trade areas that were sort of affecting the trade with the African countries. But in terms of the advantages, I mean, again, I can maybe make mention in the Richards Bay IATF, if you are there are incentives that government provides for investors that would be within the zone, as opposed to the companies that are outside of the zone paying 28% in terms of corporate tax. If you are within the zone, you pay only 15%. So that is an incentive that we use to attract the investors to come on board. We have 12I tax incentives from the DTI. We do have different incentives in terms of the infrastructure project. We build the structure, the top structure for you through the SEZ fund for the investor that is coming on board, and that makes the life of the investor easier as they are coming on board.